Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to round 3 of the RaceFace GT3 Championship right here at Brands Hatch. One of my personal favorite tracks to go and have an absolute ball. Welcome to RaceFace.Pro. My name is Stephen Koenig. Good to have you all here in the virtual grandstand, and our drivers will be tested this evening around a circuit that is tight. It is narrow. It will really push the limits of what our drivers can do in this race. Paddock Hill being the first corner, the right-hander down the hill, changing the camber. Usually sends cars off into the dirt before they head towards Druids. Side-by-side action will be at the start. And Surtees being another corner to keep an eye out for a little bit further down. That is turn 4, heading towards turn 5. And through Hawthorne Bend, little bit of a lift, trusting the aero to bite as you go and fight your way around all the right-handers, little quick turns right the way through before you get into a quick left-hander of Sterling's. Stand on the gas till you get to Clark Curve, and then back on the power, heading towards the main straight. That being said, though, I'm sure you guys are not wanting to see what the track looks like. Let's see what the qualifying looks like as we got our drivers currently out on circuit. Brandon Kruger out at the top of the charts, looking to make it at the top of the order. 0.03 of 2 second behind him is Bego Krobler. Gideon Rayner lying in third place. Mac van der Merwe, Daniel Rowe a little bit further down, who actually gets beaten out by Ryan Barrington-Smith. So Ryan Barrington-Smith gets himself ahead of the likes of Daniel Rowe, who is now lying in 6th. Werner Skuman dropping down to 7th position. Daniel de Villiers in 8th. 9th position is Sanjan Pillay, Alpha 1 Esports, a lone Alpha 1 Esports car that is out in RaceFace at the moment. So he's going to represent the team. Jason Farmer lying in 10th place. 11th is Jude Neville of Logistical Nightmare Racing, followed right down by Darren Miller, Paul Fenter, Issam Domingo, Connor Bergstrom out on the track in 15th position, Mahayath Musa, Alan Patterson in 17th position, Sean Lorero down in 18th, 19th is Jean Frefiers, along with Eric Kirstein and Andre Serradio going and having a good time out there. Taking a look to everyone going and chatting. A big welcome. I see Armo going and saying, good evening. Good to have you here. And hang on to your underpants. Norman Lewis getting it completely right, because we're about to see some phenomenal action here tonight. And remember, the championship is still wide open for drivers to score their best runs at the top. And the pressure is coming down to Daniel Rowe on 102 points, followed by his teammate Johan Bego Krobler lying in 2nd. 3rd place is the likes of Quinn Duplessis, who I don't see Duplessis in the grid this evening. So Duplessis may be out of it, but that does help Mac van der Merwe, who's running in 4th, but he's getting chased down by Andre Serradio. So keep an eye out on that one, because we're about to see a monumental battle. As for 3rd place, Duplessis on 59 points, Mac van der Merwe on 58 points, Serradio on 48 points, and then right behind him is Jean Leroux, 45 points, Paul Fenter on 44 points. I mean, Bernard Barkhuizen, 43 points. The points are absolutely close by, and we're about to see all the amazing action come to light. We do have live timing up as well. You head down to the link in the description. Go and keep an eye on your favorite drivers. Keep an eye on all the times. Lots coming out of that soon. We're going to be upgrading the pit wall from its light version, as you see now, going to be upgrading into Pro. So you guys will be able to work out all the schedules, and who knows, maybe have a viewers competition of who can work out everyone's pit strategy. Maybe just a thought there. Food for thought, something to keep in. But many things are going to happen. At the moment, though, what is happening is a top of the running. But joining me in the commentary box, and he snuck in because he knows he's been trying to practice for something else, which is happening this weekend. So taking a break out of his usual practice times of a Nordschleife 24, we've got Cameron de Bastos coming, joining it. May the 4th be with you. May the Wookiee be with you. Well, now we're here at Brands Hatch, my personal favorite circuit. And I think it's one of the circuits that I've gotten close to you in a GT3. Well, that's after you fell off into the dirt. But that's the closest I ever got to you, Cameron.
Good evening, Stephen. Good evening, everybody. Yes, that's the closest you're ever gonna get to me in the GT3, and you know that for a fact. Hi everybody. Yeah, take some time off out of the Nord's 24-hour practice. Been going around there for a while and just said, I'm getting frustrated now. It's a small, stupid mistake, so I said, I'm just gonna put it in park for now and just keep an eye on our local scene and see how it is. I mean, the RaceFace GT3 Championship has always kept my eye, well, has always captured my eye, and I always like to see how everybody's doing it tonight. Some names I've battled against in the F4 Championship that we had on Tuesday, so it's always fun to see how these guys are doing on in the different simulator, and it's always lovely to have you as company for the next hour and a half. So no, I'm happy to be here, and I'm eager to see the racing for tonight.
It's going to be a good one. And taking a look at the championship points and taking a look at the current driver standings, Mac van der Merwe, who's lying fourth in the points, has an opportunity to get into third, but he's ahead of Bega Krubler currently in qualifying. Daniel Rowe also a little bit further down the order. We've got 21 cars out on the grid here at Brands Hatch. A bit of a smaller field, but not a bad one, because Brands Hatch notorious for big grids having big problems on a little track. So what's your take to this, seeing we've got 21 cars, there's a bit more spacing, the drivers each trying to push themselves a little bit harder in this type of race?
Well, almost said Nordschleife there. No, Brands Hatch, still a very small, tight circuit. Even with 21 cars, I will get claustrophobic, always wondering how I'm going to wreck. But yeah, very, very punishing in terms of track limits if you run wide a little bit. And if you dip your tire onto the grass, it's that British grass. It's always wet, it's always slippery. There's never sunshine in Britain at all. We're lucky that we have such great, wonderful weather out here tonight. But no, it's if you dip a tire into the grass, you will get sent around, and it can ruin your race and someone else's. As it's a very blind, twisty track, a blind. You come onto the corners very fast, and you might just miss that yellow flag being deployed. So no, good action, good racing tonight. We're definitely going to have that, but it's all about patience, who can follow the leader, picking the right moment to strike and get that position.
Well, that's the thing. It's all about finding the right moment. Who's going to be able to get their way to the top? Who's going to be able to close their way to the top? That being said, lots of pressure on Daniel Rowe at the moment. Currently leading the championship. He's down in second place, but take a look at the times. I mean, Mac van der Merwe, 1:23.025. Bega Krobler, 1:23.050. Daniel Rowe, 1:23.177. And he's stuck in a bit of traffic at the moment, so I don't see him getting any quicker than that. Andre Serradio coming out the box. He is now a lot closer to the front, a little bit more stable, and taking a bit of momentum from during the course of the week's racing. So there's a lot of drivers that are taking some positive momentum, what they've learned over the course of this week, racing in different series, different cars, some having a great run, others not so great run. Do you think that's going to play a factor here in terms of a mental mind game? Because we do know that on a Thursday night, so far in the world of sim racing, it has been one of those premier type of races to be in. The Thursday night has been that, and then we've got the likes of Eleanor doing their MSA championship as well. We've got certain premieres where the pressure is mounted big time as Mac van der Merwe he pulls it for a drift. That is deliberate. That is deliberate.
Tries to warm the tires and does it so properly by swerving and hitting the Tokyo drift there. I think this isn't the theme that we have had in all of the all of the series and premier classes out there, is who can hit the best drift. Me and you both know who has the best one thus far. But no, as you mentioned, Andres Rodeo jumping from the F4 into the GT3 and putting it on 6, just been beaten by Brandon Kruger and Barrington Smith, pipping them in jumping out above Daniel Rowe there. So that jumps him down a bit there, as you see a Ferrari going cross country with that rear end bouncing. That just brings up something else, Stephen. The suspension. How do you think the drivers will have to set up the cars for tonight? I mean, Brands Hatch, a very, very bumpy circuit, very up and down, camber changes in some corners. Some places you'll have to cut the track in order to get the time that you need. But how do you think the suspensions will it be hard? Will it be soft? from what I see, the rear suspension on all of these Ferraris are very, very soft.
I can tell you from what I've seen and a little bit of chats, and also what I've managed to do, I would actually go for a little bit of a softer suspension. Allow the weight to shift around a little bit more, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room as the car gets pushed off camber, because I'm guessing that the competitors are going to try and dive me on the inside line. I'm going to have to take the outside line, and I don't want to go and have the rear axle jacking, as in the world of motorsport. We don't want it to stiffen up and lift and landing up losing drive. So I'd rather have that little bit more freedom, that little bit more wobble room, and it gets it to the top as we see the cars crossing a line. That's what would be my plan. A little bit softer, maybe with the anti-roll bars. Go and stiffen the front a little bit more, make it a bit pointy so I can do those quick chuck-ins. But I also am going to move the brake bias to the front. Reason why is when I want to go on the brakes, I want that nose to snap in, I want the rear to come out, and I want the power to go on. Because looking at the track temperature is 28 degrees at the moment, but I'm expecting it to drop about 1 or 2 degrees during the course of the race. So keeping enough positive pressure on that rear diff, I want to ensure that my tire pressures stay at that. And that's what I have found works. In turn, I am not a pro. Don't even pretend to be a pro. I mean, I've raced in the silver division at here at RaceFace, but our pros will know what to do. As we get the drivers stopping off, we're getting ready to rock and roll. We will be heading out onto the track. That's my personal take to it. The Ferrari, very good on the circuit, very stable. The Porsche is going to be a dominant factor here. But don't count out the front engines. Don't count out the BMs. Yes, they have been nerfed. They have been pretty much tamed to no end. But I do think they're going to have the advantage of being able to apply the pressure during the longer stint of the race versus the shorter stints that we're going to see these mid-engines do. That being said, though, let's take a look at our grid, because even though it's small, even though it's short, it's going to be amazing for the championship, because as we take a look out at the top of the charts, we have got Mac van der Merwe lined up, ready to go. He's going to give it everything he's got to claw his way to the top. Then second place, Bego Krubler, followed by Ryan Barrington-Smith, Brandon Kruger, Daniel Rowe down in 5th place, Andre Serradio, Werner Skuman, Gideon Reyna, Mahayath Musa, Jude Neville, Sean Loureiro, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, Paul Fenter, Darren Miller, Sunjin Pillay, Jason Farmer, Connor Bergstrom, who's getting a lot of support out in the grandstands for the Pandacity cars. Good to see that. Issam Domingo in 18th position, Jean Faviers in 19th. 20th is Alan Patterson. Don't count him out. He's very, very good at the long game here at Brands Hatch. We've seen it. He can conserve the tires. Eric Kirstein rounding out our grid. So a couple of drivers out in front that I go and repeat, and I echo it constantly. Don't count them out, because you might think that just because they're at the back of the field, they're going to lose out. This time, I don't think so, because you can maintain just enough pacing. This is about consistency over speed. This track, as you know, will bite you. The moment your tires start reaching that cliff point, that moment it starts to drop off, that is it. Game over. You will be falling off, and when you want that grip to be there, well, sadly, you're going to be introduced firmly into the Onco barriers as our cars take the line 70 kilometers an hour. Now it's going to be interesting. You got Ryan Barrington-Smith, Brandon Kruger all lined up to one another. We do know that Kruger can get going quite quickly. Mac van der Merwe going to be starting at the top of the charts. This is the first time this season we've seen him at the top of the charts, but not the first time he has been at the front. So this is a make or break for him to see whether he can shake off the curse of losing it in the front row. He's got Bego Krobler lined up next to him. 1 hour and 30 minutes of racing, and we're going racing. Daniel Rowe tries to look down the center instantly, but gets that taken out. Mac van der Merwe defending the inside line. Bego Krobler, nice and neat as they make their way through Podium Hill. Ryan Barrington-Smith going to go up on the inside, going to cause a bit of blockade, getting punched in behind Bego Krobler. Forces Kruger out wide. Kruger's going to have the inside line. Gets a beautiful pass. That's going to kill off the drive on the Porsche. Ryan running out a little bit too far. And Andre Serradio now trying to play a little bit of catch-up as Daniel Rowe puts his nose in, firmly puts Ryan on the outside. That's going to kill the drive. And now he's got a problem because here comes the train and you have got no control over it. Werner Schumann's going to tuck his nose right behind the BM. Looks to go around the outside, backs out of it though. Tires aren't up to tempers yet, but Brandon Kruger has got himself squarely right behind the Porsche of Bego Krobler.
Yeah, no, the brilliant start there from both Brandon Kruger there and Bego Krobler really trying to get the jump there on Mac van der Merwe. But Mac van der Merwe is just comfortable in that Porsche. Clearly seeing it. I mean, he opened up a 1 second gap already, and we're not even... Well, pretty much 1 second gap. We're not even around the first lap. So just coming around across the final corner onto the start-finish line. Brandon Kruger really feeling at one with that Ferrari this year, and this season, and it seems to be working out for him, which is always good after that monstrous battle that he had with Kieran Patterson last season. But no, I'm just also getting ready and really fighty there.
Kenny, the pole's gone. Kenny, the pole's gone.
I just ask Kenny the pole. Why not Penny the pole? I mean, Kenny the cone, Penny the pole. He's just. No, I'm not going to.
No, I wouldn't go down that road. Don't go down that road. Not advisable. Stick out of it. Right?
Yeah.
Ryan Barrington-Smith, though, feeling the pressure from Werner Schumann right onto the back of him. Kilian Rayner a little bit further back. Mahayath Musa, but Conor Bergstrom a little bit further down. He gained positions, lost it. But let's go back to the start. There was a little bit of argy-bargy moments that happened at the start. This is Sanjan Pillay for Alpha 1 Esports. You know, my heart goes out to him because he is the sole representative of the team, and he gets caught up where there's LNR and PWSR all over him. Oh, a little bit of a touch, and I think that was Miller he had a bit of a contact with, but not too bad. And then there was a further contact with the 55 and 97 car, and that is Kilian Rayner, who had a little bit of an argy-bargy moment. That might have been the BMW of Mahayath Musa, or was it the likes of Werner Schumann ahead of him? No, it was
there we go.
Mahayath Musa just giving a little bit of a love tap, saying, hey, just, I'm here, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's Robin's racing, just some bumps here and there. It's nothing too serious there, but Andres Rodeo really caught my eye in the first 2 laps here. He's really chasing down the likes of Daniel Rowe here. He's not giving up. That BMW sucking up all the air there through that big gap there on the front and just getting close to that Lamborghini. It's really, it's great to see the driver taking it to the top echelons of the esports world. I mean, Project Vapor has been around for multiple years as a bit of a parody towards the old Mist esports team that plays CSGO and a bit of into the symbol before they unfortunately had to shut down. But Project Vapor really making a name for themselves in this, well, specifically this year, doing extremely well in
Mac breaking under pressure, gets a little bit contact with Bego Krobler. Brandon Kruger looking to capitalize as he tried going for the dive. What a save from both Bego and Mac van der Merwe, because generally 2 cars meeting in the middle through Surtees lands up with unfortunate consequences for both. But Mac van der Merwe now in a world of hurt as he's got Kruger immediately closing on to the back of him, and he's lost out the drive to the likes of Bego Krobler, who's trying to get a move. But take a look at Serodio looking inside, looking outside, moving his nose around, trying to figure out where the mirrors are. And this is where I would have to say a single screen is far better than a triple. Purely on the fact of, no, here's the reason for it. Here's my logic. You can't see the mirrors. If you
virtual
can't,
mirror right above you, the virtual mirror, which is normally filled with a car. The side mirrors you hardly look at. It's always the virtual mirror.
the thing is, the virtual mirror sits too high. I've got to use a booster seat, so generally I don't see it. But the last thing you want to do is start seeing where this car's shifting around, and especially cars that are brightly colored. I don't know if anyone has ever had that where you've sat in traffic and you've got this like super chrome car around you going and just moving lanes. You start watching the car, you start losing focus on a track like this where it's all about mental concentration. This is a follow the leaders type of track. This is one that you're going to have to figure out where you're going to get the pass done, keep applying the pressure, as we saw moments ago when Bago Crawler Sorority getting a little bit of a tank slapper on the exit, and that lost the
on the throttle. Yeah, just lost the throttle. A bit too eager on the throttle, meaning that the rear wanted to step out as Gideon Renner jumps into the pit.
Oh, Mac for the mover gets a tank slapper, and that goes and catches out Brandon Kruger. Daniel Rowe says thank you very much, scoring 2 positions in one fell swoop. But Brandon Kruger getting a little bit caught up there. But let's try and take a look.
Yeah, he's dropping like a fly, Kruger. He has internet issues. He just disconnected, I think, Steven.
Well, let's take a look. Maybe that is what happened, where unfortunately we call it rubber banding for anyone that doesn't know in the world of sim racing, as we go to Tim in the helicam. And it was actually contact. It was contact from Brandon that caused it, and then all of a sudden, there we go. Mac for the mover having a little bit of a fun time, trying to get a tank slapper once again.
That's
Brandon Kruger falls off. So Brandon Kruger falls off. Sorodio gains a position. Daniel Rowe's off. And now Rowe, in a world of hurt, lost 1 position. Will it be 2? Sorodio's door to door.
Rubbing there, and that is throwing Sorodio off into the dirt. Oh boy.
I think it was a little bit ambitious. It was a top gear. It was a Top Gear special there, but Sorodio managed to keep it together.
You don't want to go on the outside around the final corner. It's always a risk that you will not end up on top. But Brandon Kruger already there alongside Daniel Rowe, but again,
Lost out.
Rowe,
Ryan Barrington-Smith.
Contact behind.
Ryan Barrington-Smith.
Yeah,
Ryan Barrington-Smith and Werner Skuman coming to blows with one another. And unfortunately, that twisted the likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith out and about. So let's go to Werner Skuman. Let's go to the helmet cam and see what happened. Dirty misjudge turn 2. Down into first. Looked for the inside. Little blip on the throttle.
Too early on the throttle.
No, he was on the throttle just at the right time. The problem was Ryan was trying to gather himself up there. Ryan was a little bit later on the throttle, but there's no give between these cars. Everyone's still running so close. Very aggressive driving styles at the start of the race. These tires are going to be taking an absolute beating as they make their way around.
Yeah, as we see Isham Domingo into the pits, he's dropping. I wonder if he had some mechanical issues there, but we spoke earlier of the likes of Brandon Kruger blipping and flickering around on the circuit, thinking he disconnected. He did have some internet issues earlier, right before the start of the race, where the provider just giving him some issues there, but he got it back running. But also Paul Fent's having some issues, and it seems to have settled down, stable now, but he's still trying to fight it out, but I do not see him now on track anymore, Brandon Kruger. He was reportedly there he goes, he blipped back up. Andre Sorodio getting past him. What happened there?
So let's try and do a little bit of sleuthing, shall we? Brandon Kruger. Let's see if he dropped a wheel off track. Does make it rather difficult to drive. Blips in and out of existence, and it was just a simple blip. But unfortunately, that threw him out, as we have Tim frantically searching for him. So just a little bit of a blip, and that is seen as contact, but he is throwing the car way off circuit. Paul Fenter also going in, falling a little bit off track as they make their way through. Couple of pit stops done at the start. Daniel De Villiers, I see Brandon Kruger off into the dirt again. So Brandon Kruger giving the position to Sean Herrera's got Werner Skuman going to be hunting down the inside line. It's so tempting to go on the inside for this long left-hander. He pulls into the pits. Paul Fenter immediately trying to get past, and both of them having their own race into the pit. So Brandon Kruger pulling into the pits, gave a bit of room there, and that's all she wrote from that little fight. Jude Neville and Mahath Musa also having a great little duo fight between the two of them. Mahath Musa going and gaining a bit of time. You actually had a fight with Mahath Musa on Tuesday in the F4s. This time around, he's going and having a good fight against Jude Neville in the GT3. So Ferrari versus the BMW as they charge their way through. Interesting enough, though, I do want to go and talk about a few points as we see Brandon Kruger exit the pits. So, Daniel de Villiers has done his first pit stop. Jude Neville's done his first pit stop. Mahath Musa, Brandon Kruger, Gideon Reyna, Darren Miller, Eric Kirstein, Paul Fenter coming out of the pits now, Alan Patterson and Issam Domingo have all done their first pit stop. So from 12th down, they have all completed their first load of pit stops. Do you think a little bit too early in the race? Now, I know I keep asking this question repeatedly. I know it's my go-to question, but
I mean,
on a track like this.
Almost said Bathurst. Why Bathurst? Brands Hatch, a very, very, I wouldn't say rough on the tires. It's the weight shifting on the tires from left to right, and that quick flicks. The car never really has time to settle or even out the tires, one would say. It takes a lot more beating on your right-hand tires because there's a lot more right-hand turns than left-hand turns on the circuit. So, I don't know, it might be a bit early pitting, but we do know that some of them had a bit of a slide. What surprises me is Paul Fenter. He came in behind Brandon Kruger and has dropped down the order quite a lot, and Brandon Kruger hasn't dropped as much. So I wonder if he went on and by accidentally maybe went to change tires, as we see Sean Lorera and Van der Schoeman giving each other a proper fighting there. Van der Schoeman starting in behind Sean there, trying to get the draft there, but now the next one is a quick right-hand turn there. It's a little dab of the brakes. Some people prefer to just lift off there, but the car's just bouncing on the exit curb there. Always gives me a bit of a heart attack. Oh boy.
My personal favorite actually for the corner is going in, slight lift, down the gear, and then keep it the revs a little bit higher. Oh, as we see Serodio, he spun round and he just moves out the way. Oh my heavens. What? Okay.
I want to see that on board.
Alright, so let's see Sean Lorero lose 6 of his 9 lives if he was a cat, because last thing you want to do is you come flying around, you're watching your mirrors, you're watching out for a fight, and then all of a sudden you see a little bit of smoke, you see a BMW go sideways, you come around and you just don't know where to go. Oh boy.
Code Brown, clean up on aisle 2 there, alright. Oh boy, well done for Serodio being able to get the car in reverse and back up as fast as possible.
And it was a light clip. I do want to point out on our system, it was a light clip. So Serodio managed to hook it in gear and move just enough that it was just a little bit of rubber touch. I mean, that could have ended very bad. And you watch the go and look left. He was jolting left and right, trying to guess, is the car going to move forward? Is it going to move back? Is it going to stay stationary? What are you going to do? And well, that was a bit of too exciting for some might say. Werner Skuman keeping the pressure onto the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith. Ryan Barrington-Smith, for anyone that doesn't know, is I would say a second generation race driver. A lot of people actually don't know this, but his grandfather used to race in Formula V's, was one of the champions in Formula V way back in the day in the early 60s, campaigned a Capital Formula V. It was locally built here in South Africa, called Capital Motors. You go look that up. Really very interesting tale, and his family got reunited with the sister car of his grandfather's car. But he's also gone to do the FIA All-Star Search, which was a rally All-Star Search, and nearly won the entire competition, if I remember correctly.
At the wall, never mind. Oh,
okay.
No. Oh,
just
boy,
as I was talking about it, Okay, I'm going to go change to a different driver. Sorry about that one, Ryan.
We blame Steven. He has the most commentator's curse from all of his years of experience and just bestows it on whoever the camera is pointing at. I'm still new. I only have my moments every now and then.
It will come. Conor Bergstrom, though, up on the climb from 11th to 8th now. He is now just keeping on to the back of Jason Farmer as we see Daniel Rowe getting a slight off track, so he's also pushing a bit harder. But Bego Krobler setting the fastest lap time of the race, 1:23.4 as his quickest lap time. Mac van der Merwe, a 1:23.8. So drivers trying to push that a little bit more of boundaries. The 1:24s looks to be the race pace at the moment. But a good little battle at the back, though, is Jude Mahath Musa and Brandon Kruger, as we see Brandon Kruger coming into existence yet again. It's one thing when you have internet troubles that does make life a little bit more interesting. Gotta say, it's disconcerting as a driver, not only trying to defend against it, but you as a driver watching cars disappear and then come back, and you trying to guess when when you're going to come back. He's still trying to put in the fight, which, give him his due. That's good. Nice to see he's still putting in the fight. Unfortunately, it does make life a little too interesting for our drivers, as they've got to try and figure out who, what, when, how, and who will be able to remain at the front. But as we take a look to Fafiers, he's got Ryan Barrington-Smith onto the back of him. Fafiers trying to improve his time in the race and also looking to climb up the order, and hopefully by the end of this race, if he can maintain his position, he'll move up into 14th position in points, and Daniel Rowe will maintain his position in total in championship points. Bego Krobler will remain in second as make their way through. So a couple of drivers will maintain their positional points, others not so much.
Yeah, so it's a battle give and take, but there's always still trying to maximize the points, try and limit the damage that can be caused. As you see, Conor Bergstrom, they're jumping into the pits trying to get one of his 2 mandatory stops completed. But this is a 3-way fight, and you mentioned earlier about Brandon Kruger, the blipping in and out of existence. It puts a lot of stress onto the driver in front because you never know where they are, and it's also a sense of a distraction. I mean, you're focusing ahead of you and you just keep on seeing the car behind you pop in and out. It's a bit of a distraction there, but unfortunately sometimes it's not always in their control, as we see Jude Newell getting loose there and Muhammad Musa sending it on the inside. Oh boy, a bit of a loose one there, and that is going to definitely kill the drive, which gives Brandon Kruger the opportunity to send it on the inside of Muhammad Musa and trying to claw back some positions, which he is trying to do now, getting a bit off track there as Muhammad makes that Bieber even more wider than it currently is.
Yeah, no, the drivers are definitely pushing all the boundaries at the moment, trying to see what they can do. I mean, this is always a difficult situation. You want to try and do as much as you can, and Mahath Musa is pushing harder and harder, but do you think that it's going a little bit too far in the fight? Do you think maybe to tone it back?
No.
No.
It's fighting. If you're in front, if your opponent's bumper is not alongside yours, and you go over to make a move, and they suddenly have enough drive to just try and make a scene, unfortunately misjudge the gap, I wouldn't say turn it down. If it's right next to you and you force the car off, that would be crossing a bit of a line, I would say. That's something I would say no. But so far, I haven't seen anything, and this except for the every now and then where the car gets turned around or a bit of a bump here and there. So far, it's been quite good, clean racing. As just in the background, Brandon Kruger has his teammate Hidden Reina company now next to him, as Mahath Musa is just placing that BMW exceptional to try and defend against that Ferrari. The Ferrari ducking in and out, trying to find the way, trying to make a scent, but having to hold the brakes a bit longer to not collect the rear end of the BMW. Oh, and he's really trying to stick it there, and here we go, here comes the move, maybe sending it a bit too wide, nope, exceptionally parking it. Oh, Mahath Musa fighting back. Now, here we go, is he right next to him? No. Just getting better drive there for Brandon Kruger, meaning the switch has done, but Mahath Musa with the power out of that BMW. He's on the outside for the next corner. What's going to happen? Oh, okay, now what happened there?
No, Brandon Kruger had a slight disconnect.
Oh boy, and he's dropping down the order now. What that makes it easier for Marth Musa there, but that's what we're talking about. The in and out. I
If
think that's a
no,
complete disconnect now. That's
there
a
you go.
complete disconnect.
He's stopped.
That's a complete one. He's back again. Nope, blipping in and out again.
But that means,
Oh,
oh
oh,
no! You know
it
what
did
happened?
collect.
It
did collect
registered.
him.
It
Oh
registered.
no.
So let's go back. Let's take a look at this and try and break it down because we're going to watch from Hythe Musa. We're going to go to our helicam because unfortunately, this is something we do see in sim racing where a internet connection can play a factor. Now, Mahath Musa suddenly had a car coming towards him, disappears. You think, okay, it's fine. Suddenly you get it's netcode, that's get called, where the game or the sim or the software tries to predict where the impact is. There's Mahath Musa. He gets a slight little bit of a feel, and
As soon as he blips back, that's gonna hit him hard, unfortunately.
yeah,
It doesn't show it so far into his replay, but no, that's just unfortunately what happened there. And I know in the iRacing world we always follow the rule: try and race with a bit of a bubble around yourself and the car. However,
as Jason Farmer and Andre Serrati.
Oh boy, well that's a bit of a too big of a bubble there, my boys. But no, with iRacing, because if you have different nationalities, constantly racing between, just saying sorry there for Andre there. With iRacing, different nationalities race together all the time. You have to follow the bubble rule. However, in South Africa, we all normally have the same issue with internet, with our undersea cable that got broken a couple 1 or 2 months ago, and that being fixed. And then 5 days later, they discovered a newer break, just also the same age there. So everything gets broken, and it's a bit of a give and take. And unfortunately, Brandon Kruger, I did speak with him, I believe, the previous season, where he says, "No, his internet and with the load shedding that we have, giving him some issues there, and he just wants to find a place where internet's stable. That he does have load shedding. He does not have load shedding, and just try and get some proper racing. He's having some issues with that, but it just seems tonight is not his night, unfortunately, and that is what's happening. And it's not both him losing out and the likes of Mahath Musa, who has shown a phenomenal pace with that BMW.
As we see, Ryan Barrington-Smith gets past for Fears off into the dirt, trying his luck. Rodeo going and battling out with Jason Farmer, the Luxury Time Racing Machine, up against Project Vapor. The two teams have gone to blows with one another right the way through, but this is turning into some phenomenal action, heating up quite a bit. But with that being said, let's go through the running order as it stands currently. Bago Krobler out in first place, Mac van der Merwe in second. Third is Daniel Rowe, followed by Sean Lavera, Ryan Barrington-Smith, along with Sean for Fears, Andre Serradio, Jason Farmer, Sunjan Pillay, Daniel De Villiers, Jude Neville, Gideon Rayner, Werner Skuman, a little bit further back, Mahath Musa, Darren Miller onto the back of him, Eric Kirstein, Connor Bergstrom, Paul Fenter, Alan Patterson, Isam Domingo, and it looks like Brandon Kruger, unfortunately, going and disconnecting out of this one. So he will be out of the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a heartbreaking moment for him, and unfortunately losing out there. But chin up, Brandon. There's always next race, and hopefully by that time all the internet is solved. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's luck of the draw, and unfortunately tonight just not in his favor. But it's one of the African things. We have to push through it. We have the inverters for load shedding. Now we just need to figure out how we can get the internet up running permanently, or just install a wireless router or a Wi-Fi card into our computers to connect to a little pocket dongle, or as I would like to refer to them as aliens, as they always look so strange.
Well, that's where you would use a mesh network system. And yeah, that's
look at Steven dumping in on some of the IT stuff that I do not even know. Well, I don't know. I don't have a clued up notion out there.
So when we say it's like a mesh network type system, we're talking about much in the world of where it pulls in a fiber connection and ADSL and all that type of stuff, whatever connections you plug into it, and it then selects what is the most appropriate for what's going on.
It's a fallback. It's a fallback, a backup system, one would say.
Yeah, okay. That big fancy one. That big fancy one. That one.
Just basically, it's a backup system. It's a leg switch line is the best one. Similar like how the routers these days have a 2.5 2.5 or 2.8 gigahertz frequency, and the 5 gigahertz. You can either split them or combine them, and let the router decide which one is the best quality for what you are currently doing.
Then I'm going to completely change it and say we've got some awesome racing, because currently our top 9 are yet to do a pit stop.
Ooh, this is very close, right?
Everyone else has done a pit stop. We've had one retirement, but the tires are starting to be felt. We're up to we're 24 degrees on the track. Remember I was talking about I would compensate for the track temperature starting to drop off? Well, this is what it was. They qualified on 28 degrees track temperature. It's now 24 out on circuit. So that is 4 degrees drop. And that means your tire pressures have gone really for a ball of chalk right now, which, as you know all too well,
it's bad. Yeah, if it's you have to sometimes just drive harder than to get more heat into them. That always means also dragging your brakes a lot more, slowing down. It's a bit of an issue there, but that BMW on this road here absolutely looking feisty, going around the inside there on the final corner of Faviers, and his next target, Ryan Barrington-Smith. It just seems that BMW has got some life back into it, Stephen. I don't know why you don't like it as much.
it doesn't work the way that I wanted it to, or what I used to have with it. It's one of those. It's very, very sad. It's one of those cars that to this day is a punch. Yeah,
it breaks your heart. It guts you.
It's like going and wanting to drive a car on any sim. Take the Porsche that Bego Krobler is currently going and fighting with. I mean, everyone loves the Porsche and what it can do. Jason Farmer, though, not liking the Ferrari as what it can do, is we just catch him coming back on track. But the Porsche, something that everyone wants to drive. It's that iconic sound, it's the iconic drive, but it takes a certain person to gel with it. Not everyone can gel with it. I can tell you personally, when I've tried Assetto Corsa Competizione, I went in and drove the Porsche because, well, got told it was the best car. I could see the results. The thing was at the top. It was the meta. It was the car. Drove it.
And spun.
Well, I never actually did well in it. I could not get the car to do what I wanted to do. It hated my driving style. I had to change a lot of the driving style to suit the car, where others find the Ferrari doing just fine. On the new BOP, it's for others that like to lift and coast. It doesn't seem to work. It likes to understeer. But the BMW, frustratingly enough, with the new LFM BOP, actually sticks. And that's where it comes in. Certain cars gel with certain people. You can go for the meta, and when we talk about the meta, we talk about the cars that will always get the win. You will see them constantly at the top. At the start of the series, though, you have to pick your car, and that's where it gets a little bit tricky, especially in league racing. Right here in RaceFace.Pro, no one's allowed to change their car. Once you start, you're stuck with it.
You're stuck with it for the season, yes. And that's the thing. I mean, me and you spoke about it earlier this week. When the Ferrari came out, everybody loved it. It was a powerful car. When the Porsche 992, the 911, the 911, 992 edition, whatever it is, the newer GT3, when it came out, I tried it. I raced it, I ran it around Spa. The only car I've ever been able to run a 216 around Spa in my life, and I've never been able to replicate it with any other car, including the McLaren. But the problem is, the Porsche, it is so hard on its rear tires, and it's so slidey in ACC that sometimes it frustrates you when you're struggling. You on a perfect lap and you make a mistake. Then you get the stable, reliable car such as the Ferrari. Good, reliable, always fighting at the front.
You want to do a 216 around Spa? Can I give you a hint? I've got the discovered secrets of it. And
yeah, you cut the corners.
No, you don't even have to cut the corners. So you boot up like what you've got with iRacing. You jump into the LDMH, then you drive that.
Yes. Yes, that's the only way. And the only way to do a sub 2 minute around Bathurst the LMP2 even. I think I ran a 153 around that.
Oh, that's it. But we got quite a few people jumping into the virtual grandstands. We have got Exotic going in, supporting Connor in his efforts on the climb to the top. He's now down into 16th position. Roy Oaks Badger coming off his live stream out on Twitch. And I do want to point out, Roy Oaks Badger, shout out to him. Oh, that's Drew Neville. I'll get back.
Bonk on the nose.
That is a pony that unfortunately got shoved.
It's lost its gallop.
Yeah, that's got told to jump and went for dressage instead. There we go. See, I do have class. But around the final corner, gets the rear to rotate a little bit too much, touch the dirt, and snap. There's nothing you can do. That little corner of the tire, unfortunately, touching the dirt, gets a rotation, and now he's going to be driving around with a bit of a squint nose there. But yeah, good to see people from different facets coming through and enjoying the world of sim racing as an esport. Good to see the guys enjoying it. Ryan Barrington Smith
having a horrible night there, and he's parked right in the wrong way.
He is literally in the middle.
And the guys do not lift at all for a yellow flag, it seems. But
Fears hadn't ran wide. That's the problem. But Barrington Smith came right in front of Kilian Rayner, which killed the drive on him. And Daniel de Villiers going and just tipping the hat there, saying, "Thank you, dear sir. I'll take that one."
The gentleman. What's the running gag of How Much Mother? The gentleman.
The gentleman. Let's jump.
Just getting on the grass, I call.
Yeah, I would say carrying a little bit too much pace.
Run too wide onto the grass and
snap.
Goodbye.
Tap.
And that's the issue.
Wait for it. And that's not what you see. It's for Fears. For Fears was out of control when he landed up. So for Fears came around the corner and was out of control. So let's see if we can jump back a little bit. This is Sanjan Pillay. Sanjan also had a moment.
I think he might have nicked for Fears there. Nope.
No. No, he just arrived on the seed for Fears in one place, seeing Ryan Barrington Smith. It was just, where do I go? I'm heading for the hills here. Some piece of the circuit is going to be okay.
It's a Ferrari trying to pass a German Porsche. Oh boy, oh boy. That will never work out no matter what. But thank goodness Ryan Barrington Smith slamming on the brakes, getting the car stopped and able to just hold it, not turn the car around with cars approaching. So well done to him, and thank you for that one there, Ryan there. And now we have Gideon Reyna trying to close down on Dan de Villiers. Now normally me and you are used to seeing him in the Nissan going around and showing what he can do. Tonight he is in the Ferrari and still taking names quite and taking off his victims, the hitman, not making it easy for any other driver to get past them.
Well, that's it. The PWSR team all taking a consensus to run a Ferrari as their car, to do a little bit of fine adjustments and fine work into it, which in hindsight is a clever strategy. You're pooling your resources onto one car to figure it out, and you're figuring out all the different niggles because each driver brings something different to the party. Fair enough. Other teams, I would think would go rather pick the car that suits your driving style. As we spoke about it a little bit earlier, driving the Porsche a little bit harder, driving the BM seems to be a bit easier. Ferrari,
driving the McLaren.
Well, I never drove.
It's a different skill level.
Never drove with the McLaren. I personally will say, and I'll be straight with it, I've never drove with McLaren on Assetto Corsa Competizione purely for the fact of I did not like the look of it. The BMW, the only reason I raced the BMW in Assetto Corsa was because I drove it in iRacing. That is
and in iRacing it was the Metas, so Steven was also chasing Metas.
I genuinely was. And it was purely on the fact of I did not like the look of it, but it drove really well. And it's the reason why I've kept up to date with all the different GT3s, getting all of them, trying to chase those metas. But when you enter the league racing, and this is what I love about league racing, and joining up. And this is why I do invite everyone that is just wanting to get into the world of sim racing. Join part of the leagues, join up with RaceFace.Pro, and be a part of it, because you can race against some of the pros that we have right here on the track. You can go door-to-door battles with them, or you can even verse people that are within your skill level that are still new to the world of sim racing, just getting into it, or just trying to find their feet. We have multiple servers running at the moment, Pro, Pro-Am, and Am, all going at it, hammer and tongs, fighting for a championship, different skill levels, different homes for drivers. As Gideon Reyna trying to find a home on the inside of Daniel de Villiers, but he is not getting an easy time, as Daniel de Villiers is constantly going and pushing all the limits, as there's a little bit of a dust cloud.
For Villiers again?
That might be for Villiers.
That sounds like a Ferrari having some issues. Yeah, that. Let me see what colors. Yeah, that's Villiers having a bit of a horrible night there. From going to the penultimate corner there, and just struggling with that Ferrari. I mean, we've grown to know that the hybrid racing team you spoke about earlier, the hybrid racing team, well, the team's choosing one car. Hybrid racing team always running the Ferrari with maybe a bit of a dabble between the BMW from Daniel Rowe and Bagel Hobber, previously running the Aston Martin. But now they switch to their all reliable, the Ferrari, which for the junior development team that they're running there, in terms of for Fears that I've seen them tonight there, and Kirstein, and Daniel Rose going with the Lamborghini, and Bagel Hobler working wonders with that Porsche there. But it's as you mentioned before, yes, it's good to have a team run the same car. You have multiple people testing the car, but then it also is, if it doesn't suit your driver style. You mentioned before, I mean, I can go with a Ferrari, but it will not match. It's not the thing that the rear's too stiff. Unlike a car, it's a bit loose, and I like to brake as late as possible. Sometimes a Ferrari gives, sometimes it doesn't.
just getting a message from one of our spectators going and watching the racing live after just getting her pet back from the vet, saying Ginger is back from the vet and enjoying the racing. So even the cats and dogs going and enjoying the racing that we're seeing out on circuit. 52 minutes left of the race. Lots of things to talk about here. Bago Krobler checked out, 3.6 seconds up ahead. Closest fight on circuit is currently these two. It's Daniel de Villiers and Gideon Reyna, nose to tail, and you can see Reyna starting to slide the car around. Those tyres are starting to take a monstrous impact. Jude Neville's now pulled into the pit, so he's going to be getting his final stop out of the way. He will be the first of our grid to complete all his pit stops when he exits the pit. So that is going to be an interesting one to see where exactly he falls into it, where is going to be into touch as they make their way through. I would say that's a bit early. I would have gone until 45 minutes. 45 and then get going. But how long does he spend in the pits? Does he put on a new set of tires? Because this will be the litmus test where a lot of our drivers will be going and watching. And take a look, Brandon Kruger in the grandstand saying missed race 1 due to load shedding, missed race 2 due to internet, race 3 due to a disconnect. Brandon Kruger, if you're out on the Discord, head over to the commentary booth. It'll be an awesome one to just go and have a chat to you. I know that you've been having a hard time as you see Fears pulling into the pits. We are watching your teammate that's currently out in circuit. But we'd like to get some of your thoughts on what this track is before you disconnect it. How does it feel out there? But when you're ready, we fully understand the frustration into it. Take a look though, Jude Neville pulling out. He is now in front of de Villiers. Will be getting a yellow flag on the way through. And Jude has now completed all his pit stops successfully. Now just has to keep it going right until the end. But starting to play a little factor in the battle of de Villiers and Gideon Reyna, as we see a couple of others getting themselves in the pits. Werner Skuman has now gotten into the pits as well. I would say still that 45-minute mark would have been ideal, but maybe to try and go for an undercut on the likes of Jude Neville. I don't know.
I do not know. I don't know. I mean, Geneva wasn't really as far to if my knowledge system correct before the pit stops. I'm not completely sure, but no, it's to pop in so early into the pits to try and change tires. I mean, oh, that's
that
sideways
is-
for the Omnius Gaming, and that is a goodbye on the front of Ferrari. Daniel De Villiers breathing a massive sigh of relief, saying, "Oh, thank goodness for that." But heartbreak for the Omnius Gaming esports team, losing one of the drivers to disconnect, and the other one, fortunately, putting the face in the barrier and making that car not look very much Italiano right now.
Well, it is. It's like a pizza, but you just turn the box upside down. We got Brandon Kruger to come and have a chat. Brandon Kruger, welcome to the commentary box. Not ideal circumstances, but good to have you just coming in for a bit of a chat. First of all, the emotions behind it. I know it's something you don't want to talk about, but here in the world of media, we do love hearing a bit of the emotions and getting a feel for the drivers, because as much as this is virtual racing, you've been part of the entire grids that pour hearts and souls into it. It's virtual racing, but it's real racing that you guys are out there. Take us through the emotions at the moment.
Yeah, hi Stephen, hi Cameron. I'm just a little bit disappointed. I thought the connection would be fine. And then also like, I'm a
The prime example of the internet being buggy. Be back, Brandon.
did I get dropped again?
You
Yeah.
dropped there for a split second. You like you're perfect. Just the internet going and goodbye.
Oh.
I mean, there's a live stream. There was a live demonstration there for our viewers out there who wasn't quite sure what's going on. But welcome
Yeah.
back.
Thank you. Oh, hi guys. But yeah, I was saying it's massively disappointing, but also worrisome, because if I'm having these intermittent connection issues, then I could be affecting other people's races as well. Like I could be teleporting or rubber banding and then like cause a crash or something. So it puts a sour mouth taste in your mouth, and you don't really want that to happen. Like despite my efforts now going to waste in practice, it will still like cause an incident. I don't know what happened with me and Musa, because we were side by side at one point, and then all of a sudden I was like disconnected.
Yeah, he did land into the weeds, unfortunately. It looked like a bit of a rubber band towards one another. But unfortunate missing out 3 races now, but still going and supporting your teammate that's out on track, giving it his all. How's the feeling in the pit? Is the team still hopeful to keep up a good bit of momentum, trying to score as many points as possible? Is there looking for improvement? How's the feel down in the OG KSR pit?
Yeah, it was looking quite positive. I decided to take Gideon's strat after I had my little messy run. I think I went off in the third last corner. You know, that right-hander.
Yes.
Before that left-hander. Yeah, I don't know the corner names, unfortunately. But yeah, I had a mess. I was like, okay, I have to pit. I have to cool down and reset, and then that was fine. And then I was like keen for the battles with Musa and the others. And then, unfortunately, the banning, Gideon did tell me that I was like popping in and out, and Mac was telling me that like my pit stops were.
Yep.
I was like, oh wow, my pit stops are done. I don't have to pit. We're Gucci. We can just go. But no, unfortunately not. It was all just a bug. But yeah, before his incident, it seemed like Gideon was gonna do well, and it's also nice to see Mackie's up in the podium positions, but it seems like Bago's got that under control.
For now,
We'll
we've been seeing a couple of pit stops, undercuts coming into play. Quite a few drivers have gotten within the first 10-15 minutes of the race, getting their first pit stop out the way. You've been out on the circuit. You qualified on a 28-degree track, then get into a race that's 24 degrees on circuit. Do you think the drivers are starting to suffer a little bit on their tires out on the track?
For sure. What I did notice when I was doing my practice runs is that you lose, if you're not consistent, you lose your grip quite quickly. But like it was still strong pace. I know the Ferraris had strong pace. My fastest lap on track was a 23.6, and I think I could have gone quicker. without the battles in front. But yeah, I don't think the tires will drop off that much after 20 minutes, maybe 25, 30. Then there'll be struggles. There'll be definitely traction struggles, and it'll be noticeably different.
Well, I've got to say thank you so much for coming in the commentary booth and just giving us a bit of insight. Heart goes out to you and the team for everything that's gone on, but it's good to hear that you're still willing to get in and get going. You're looking to finish up the season. I'm dead sure on that one. You're gonna drive it to the bitter end, as one would say.
Oh, for sure. Like, unfortunately, I don't have the motivation to like practice now. It's a bit of a waste, but I'll see. Like, I'll definitely finish. I'll attempt every single race. Oh, there's an accident.
Yeah, that's Connor Bergstrom and Eric Kirstein getting a little bit argy-bargy, and Eric Kirstein looking to give him a little bit of a lean there. Two drivers just coming to it. I think Eric Kirstein just lightly saying to Connor, hey, didn't quite enjoy that. Just a reminder, we're in a racing here, not a boxing match. I mean, tempers can flare up on track. Both you and Cameron have been part of that, where it's just a little bit of an elbow just saying, hey buddy, watch your spacing there. In this sort of mindset, I'm sure having a little voice in the head saying, calm down, breathe, take a step back, let's look at the bigger picture here, is quite useful.
Sometimes it's not always intentional. You can just misjudge your braking points or how much you throttle, you know. It can happen, and but it seems there's lots of clean racing out here today. It's not so bad.
Yeah, that's all really good. No. Well, Brandon, thank you so much, and please pass on to the drivers, because I know you're going to jump down and have a chat to them. Pass on a good luck to them. We're looking forward to see how they're going to go. Mac van der Merwe has just gone into the pits. This is the moment to keep an eye out for. So we're going to let you go, but the live timing in pit wall is up, so feel free to use that while you work out your live strategies at this point.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Brandon Kruger from OGKSR, going and giving us a bit of insight there. Oh man, it's always heartbreaking. It's heartbreak to see how difficult times come through, but I would say it makes the driver in that. Cameron, it's one of those things, if you can go and just say, well, it happened, it's not my ideal situation, but still put in the support, still go and watch out for everyone. That's always fantastic. As we're seeing Daniel de Villiers and Werner Skuman giving a good go at one another. Pandacity versus PWSR as it stands, both not backing down and both fighting for overall track position, because they are not to go into the pits anymore.
No, they are now fighting for overall track position, as Van der Skuman really trying to send it on the inside there of Daniel de Villiers. The fighting out tonight has been absolutely brilliant there, Stephen. But yeah, it's great to see. I mean, I've been a part of both of these two teams, PWSR and Pandacity, and it's great to see the rivalry between the two continue going. They're trying to get the maximum amount of points and trying to stick it out for tonight, as with 4 cars jumping into the pits there, and Van der Skuman really trying to get past down the Villiers, but the Villiers is not making it easy tonight with a Ferrari. He's driving it as wide as a BMW, but it's not a BMW, it's Italiano, it's a Ferrari.
Tires question? Oh no, we can't say that anymore. He's been replaced.
We're checking. Oh,
you can't say that anymore. Can't say it. He's gone. But take a look. Andre Serradio, Sean Lerero, Mahath Musa, all into the pits, getting their pit stops done and dusted. We saw Mac van der Merwe get into the pits. So only 2 cars needing to get the first of their pit stops done. Bego Krobler and Daniel Rowe once again going for the latest strategy they have been known for. Mac van der Merwe up into 3rd place. Will look to try and close down on that little fight. Gotta say, going to be an interesting one to see who's going to finish out on this. Whether the late strategy is going to come to play. We heard from Brandon saying that they would start feeling the tires at roughly about the 20-30 minute mark. And we do see Mac van der Merwe's changed tyres, Andre Serradio's changed tyres, Sean Herrera's changed tyres, Connor Bergstrom is still on the same set of tyres that he started with. Sanjin Pillay has changed tyres, Daniel de Villiers has changed tyres, Werner Skuman's changed tyres. Darren Miller's changed tyres. Killian Rayner's done repair work, changed tyres, same as Jason Farmer. Jeff Fiers, Eric Kirstein, Alan Patterson, they've all done tyre changes. So, little changes coming into play. I think now they've pretty much taken out the chance to even change tyres. Paul Fenter with a stop-go 30-second penalty. Paul!
Ooh, that is Paul, there's a wall. You should have hit the wall to slow down and not dodge the wall to go faster. Oh, and that, I think that breaks the camel's back and says, nope, I'm retiring. Which way? Yeah, going to the off-road and
That's
goodbye.
him retired. Oh, no! No!
Well, that's just really bad luck there, Stephen. I mean, I feel bad for him. And unfortunately, just like Paul, I will also have to retire for tonight as I need to go do some stuff quickly. That popped up.
Go and enjoy you. I'm sure it's with the little dog going and doing the new friend to the family.
If only it was a little dog. No, unfortunately, I have to do some unexpected commitment popped up, and I have to quickly go take care of that. But
cheers,
good luck
Cameron.
to all of you tonight, and good night, Stephen. We'll talk again. And yeah, good luck and thanks everybody for joining in and still watching there. And I'll keep an eye on the stream. And good luck to all the racers.
Yeah, good luck to Cameron de Bastos, who will be racing this weekend in the Nordschleife 24-hour endurance race out on iRacing. But what we are currently watching is the 1 hour 30 minutes of Brands Hatch, where we see Werner Skuman onto the back of Daniel de Villiers doing everything he can to just try and push his way through to the front. They are currently fighting for overall track position. They do not need to pit any more. But out in front, it is Daniel Rowe leading the charge. Beggar Krobler down into second place. Mac van der Merwe in third. Andre Serradio in fourth. Fifth place is Sean Herrero, followed by Conor Bergstrom, Sunjin Pillay, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, Werner Skuman, Mahath Musa, Darren Miller, Gideon Rayner, Jason Farmer, Sean Fiers, Eric Kirstein, and Alan Patterson rounding out our grid at the moment. Couple of retirements due to various circumstances, whether it be disconnects due to outages in the area, or whether the cars unfortunately just not coming to life right at the end. This is turning into a up and down race for all our drivers out on track. So let's see how this is going to turn out. As we see Werner Skuman running out wide, that will kill off his drive as he tries to make a bit of a go, talking to his fellow teammate, which would be Conor Bergstrom. Daniel de Villiers, though, out there for the PWSR team, having a good run. Eric Kirstein, unfortunately, not having too much of a good run, runs out wide, hooks it on the dirt, and now brings it back. So just outbraking himself, unfortunately. And let's take a look at what happened. This is into a long right-hander, a slight lift, turn it in. You just try and keep positive throttle. Ran out wide over the marbles and into the wall as well. Just to add insult to injury, unfortunately. That is going to bend the steering. And will he be able to drive it through? Yep, he's going to attempt to drive it till the end at this point, wanting to maximize as many points as possible. But constantly the closest battle out on circuit, Daniel de Villiers, Werner Skuman is our closest battle out on circuit, as Daniel Rowe has checked out. He's 46 seconds ahead of Beggar Krobler. Mac van der Merwe is only 4.4 seconds behind Beggar Krobler. Andre Serradio, as we see for Fiers, landing up with a bit of a problem. He goes and lifts off and allowing likes of Beggar Krobler to get by. So closest fight on circuit, Panacity and Infiltrate going and battling out with the PWSR Alpha team, and the PWSR Alpha team is really having a good go at this. Daniel de Villiers not backing down, trying to keep up a good pace, and will be getting a bit of information relayed from the likes of Darren Miller and Alan Patterson of where everyone is on circuit, because you've got 3 cars out on track. You've got your teammates constantly feeding you a bit of information that can give you a bit of insight of what exactly is happening out on circuit. So very, very good to see how this is turning out for our drivers. Sunjin Pillay out on track for the Alpha 1 Esports, the lone Alpha 1 Esports driver, starting to lose a bit of time though, as we saw just in shot. We saw the likes of Daniel de Villiers and Werner Skuman And just taking a look over to our grandstands, Paul Venter going and saying, unfortunately, after the penalty coming into play and just the car not behaving, they opted to rather just box the car, not going to work out, rather just go and rather get it sorted out for another day. Fight another day, go and enjoy the side. So, Paul, if you are around near our commentary box, you're more than welcome to have a quick chat, give us a bit of insight on what happened to your race, and give us a bit of insight. As we see Conor Bergstrom, he's into the pits, loses our position to Mahath Musa and to his fellow teammate, so he will be keeping an eye out on where Darren Miller's going to come by. Miller will get the pass done and dusted, so will Gideon Rayner at this point. And Jason Farmer may as well. No, Jason Farmer won't be able to get it, but it will be close on pit exit as Jason Farmer coming up towards turn 1. Conor Bergstrom just exiting the pits, tries to barrel his way through, and very, very close between the two of them on the way out. Luxury Time Racing, Jason Farmer, who was fighting it out for the championship, is now, for the Pro-Ams, now in the pros, taking the fight to the likes of Conor Bergstrom. We've got Paul Venter, who just made his way through. Paul, welcome to the commentary box. Not ideal circumstances to have you here, but the kettle is warmed up and we're ready for story time. What happened out on the track this evening?
Us boys, well, it actually all started on Sunday when my PC decided to crash.
Okay, so PC trouble, then internet trouble.
Yep, so I got the PC back together by 10 o'clock last night, and then did 2 laps just to make sure it pedals work and everything last night. Then this afternoon get home and there's no internet. Internet came on, I think, just before 7, and then I forgot to map half the bloody buttons.
Okay, so it's been just errors after errors, and eventually patience ran out. Rather keep the sanity heading into it. But with that being said, we've seen some amazing action out on circuit. Drivers giving a good show to one another, and not too many shenanigans, which is always good to see. But I'm sure you're also going to keep an eye on a couple of drivers, such as Jude Neville, who was out a little bit, going and having a good run. Unfortunately, some mistakes starting to creep in. It looks like he is out of the running. But all in all, some really, really tight racing, which I know you are a big avid fan for, because you like to throw a bit of chaos in there. But seeing a bit of side-to-side action, there's always a bit of a smile to your face.
I don't know, the boys seem to be behaving themselves. I think I need to have a word with Hansi, because the stern talking he gave everyone has put everyone on their best behavior. So it's on the one side, it's absolutely fantastic to see the close racing, close times, guys, really, really racing with respect, which is fantastic to see. But not so good for my, shall we call it, drinking problem on a Friday night, because I end up looking at the bottle of cactus instead of drinking shots for people creating shenanigans. So yeah, boys, nudge, nudge, hint, hint, have a bit of fun.
Well, I think you're definitely going to be having a few for everything that's gone on from your side. But I do want to now just put on a little tinfoil hat, and we're not going to give away too many details because, well, we can't. But a little bird told me a little bit earlier today, there's a possibility of a bit of a long race that may return, an infamous race, we could call it that may return, and, well, give the Ford Mustang a run for its money as well later this year. So I don't know if you've had that same little bird just go tweeting on the porch saying there may be something coming in the near future that the drivers are going to have to keep a very close eye on. The Logistical Nightmare Racing socials and the RaceFace.Pro socials.
So let's put it that way. The race of Rebels last year. I'm sure everyone knows. That fantastic event that takes place at a track somewhere in Midrand or something. So there's talks. Possibly we might, sit around and put a race on that takes us half a day or a little bit more than half a day. So. Keep your eyes glued. It might be called something in Midrand. It might be called a virtual something, depending if we want to have some fun with the boys and their trademarks. And let's, we got to keep with the theme of having a rebel type event. So keep your eyes glued. Should be something for later in the second half of the year coming up.
Well, at the moment, we've got Werner Skuman with a drive-through penalty. Not exactly what he wants. He's been fighting tooth and nail against Daniel de Villiers. He's got Maeth Musa onto the back of him, so that is going to play into a factor. Before I let you go, for many people that don't know who Paul Venter is not only a virtual sim racer, he's done real racing. He's also the leader, one of the leaders in logistical nightmare racing, especially in the PC division. And you guys are coming up with a series for everyone to join, where it doesn't matter if you're pro-am, newbie. There's a new series starting soon. Can you give us a little bit of info before I let you go?
No worries. So as true to our name, Logistical Nightmare, we call it the Season of Chaos. It starts on Tuesday. And literally, I took whatever chaos I could think of with weather as most extreme to the left or to the right. So the one race is literally on 65 degrees with a bit of spots of rain that forces you to run on a boiling track with wets. Your tires burn out in 1.5 laps, and you've got a 60-minute race. So it is just one of the crazy ones we thought and came up with. So if you're keen for the most challenging thing under the sun, head on over to SimGP, sign up, and join us on Tuesday night, just for some 6 rounds of absolute chaos, fun, laughter, and who knows, there might be some fancy customized gloves or something that could be sent your way if you are crowned the king of chaos.
Am I allowed to score a set of gloves for, just being a voice amongst all the chaos that happens weekly?
Well, I hear there's this fantastic AI that commentates brilliantly, so you might as well ask AI to take over and you come and race. How's that for a then come and take on the chaos for some gloves?
That sounds like a bit of fun. That really sounds like a bit of fun. All right, well, Paul the Wolf Venter going and joining in from Logistical Nightmare. Unfortunately, retiring from tonight's race. Big shout out to you, and look forward to seeing you out on a Tuesday night. Sorry about tonight's race not working in your favor.
All good, thanks, gents, and my money's on Musa to bring this home and not kill someone.
There we go. We want the Vapor Boys not to dive bomb, as you would say. Well, there is Paul Venter giving a bit of an insight and a bit of a fun to Logistical Nightmare Racing, our definite partners that run with RaceFace.Pro. But that being said, right here, right now, we're seeing some amazing battles. Werner Skuman given up the fight. He's got the drive-through penalty, did everything he could, but Maeth Musa got past. Now he's onto the back of Daniel de Villiers, so that pass is done and dusted. Track limits coming into play. Saki goes Bossi. Some tight racing between Werner and Daniel. Yes, that is definitely the case. It's been some tight racing all around. It's fantastic racing. But Werner Skuman's going to have to pull into the pits shortly because he has 3 laps to serve his penalty. Otherwise, he risks being disqualified. That is a nightmare to have, and he does pull into the pits and drops down. But what that does give the advantage to, which I know there's someone out in the virtual grandstand going to be smiling, possibility of this chap getting ahead of his teammate. Connor Bergstrom will do everything he can to try and make up some ground. But we're going to keep an eye on Maeth Musa versus Daniel the Hitman de Villiers and Kylian Reyna, who unfortunately got it all types of wrong. Through the final corner, gets it into the wall. Slipping, sliding, under brakes, looking a bit out of shape. Lost his teammate due to a disconnect, and it looks like his race is also going south with the birds at this point. Going out wide, touches wheel on the dirt, and thud. Oh, Ouch. Not ideal circumstances. He's able to get it going, but that Ferrari definitely hurting at this point. Furnace German out on the pits. Now trying to get going. We'll have Julian Reina behind him. I think no threat there. Jason Farmer trying to make his way through, and Conor Bergstrom trying to claw his way back as Mac van der Merwe gets past him. So currently with 25 minutes to go, it is Daniel Rowe out in first place, Bego Krubler in second, followed by Mac van der Merwe, Andre Serradio, Sean Lerero, Daniel de Villiers, Mahayath Musa, Darren Miller trying to close up onto the back of him, Werner Skuman, Kilian Reina, Jason Farmer, Conor Bergstrom, Sean Verveers, Eric Kirstein, Alan Patterson, and Sanjan Pillay still on the charge. We have still got Jason Farmer to do his mandatory pit stop. Sean Lerero, Andre Serradio, Mac van der Merwe, Bego Krubler, and Daniel Rowe all still needing to do their mandatory pit stops right till the end. I'm sure this is going to be a last lap, in, out, quickly, refuel, but that takes out any chances of tyres being taken, as Daniel Rowe is still on the same set of tyres that he started with on a track that's now 22 degrees. Let's not forget, in qualifying, this track was 28 degrees. There is a 6-degree difference from when they started till now. So when they went out for quali till now, there is 6 degrees drop. That means your tyre pressures is down by 2.5, 3 bar that you're busy playing with to get them all sorted. So it means if you have not got it absolutely right, if you have not got this pinpoint perfect, you are in a world of hurt as the race continues. But a awesome fight from PWSR for Daniel de Villiers and the Project Vapor Mahayath Musa, who's giving a good go at him. Gotta say, Mahayath Musa going and taking the drive that he had on Tuesday right here at RaceFace.Pro for the SA Lube F4. Now putting it into practice. Daniel de Villiers was racing last night, and he was with the Zodiac Racing community in the Nissan, had a sterling fight with his one, getting in the fastest lap time by the end of the race. Now these two trying to take that momentum and really claw down the order. Sanjan Pillay doing everything he can as he sees Alan Patterson getting it all out of shape. The two of them going side by side. Alan going and losing out that drive. Sanjan saying thank you very much. Those two having a monumental battle as well. But Sanjan looking to try and check away from Alan Patterson at the moment, the fastest commentator on ACC, now going and losing out that little bit of ground, trying to close in on the Alpha Esports driver, the lone Alpha Esports driver, as we see Mahayath nearly right up the backside of Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, who nearly lost it out of shape, saw the smoke, and unfortunately didn't quite have the same fire to get on the gas, as he lost a little bit of time, 0.2, but I think Mahayath Musa also got a bit of a fright there, jumped on the brakes. Sanjan Pillay losing out his drive, Alan Patterson retaking. So Sanjan dropping off into the dirt, Alan saying thank you very much, retaking his position and clawing his way back to the top. 21 minutes of this race, 21 minutes and 54 seconds to go of this race. 16 cars still out on track. We have lost a few. We do know of a few, unfortunately, out of tonight's race due to a variety of circumstances, and now having to just watch it from the sideline. Teammates all going and chatting to each other amongst the radios, going and figuring out what's going to work, what's going to be the top running order. Side by side, Mahayath Musa going in for the dive. Miller run on the inside, the two of them, light blow, but it was okay. He did bring it back. Gives a little flash to Daniel saying, hey buddy, that was a bit close. Not ideal circumstances there, but I think Daniel didn't have much room to talk. Unfortunately, understeering, he falls off the circuit. Mahayath Musa also dropping off the circuit. I don't think the flash could go and affect you that far back. Maybe just going and psyching himself out a little bit, having that understeer starting to kick in on the Ferrari and battling his way through. But that has allowed Mahayath Musa to close up the gap to him and look to stand on the charge as they make their way through. So, a couple of cars needing to still pit. Bego Krobler a little bit slow though, as he's lost a bit of time. Now trying to gain a little bit of time to Daniel Rowe, 3.1 seconds ahead. Daniel has lost out a tremendous amount of time. So let's see how this is going to work out as he's caught up behind. That looks to be Gideon Reyno, who, remember, is driving with a fair chunk of damage on his Ferrari. Does move out the way into turn 2. It's going to allow Daniel by without too much of an issue. But I think that has cost him a fair amount of time. Side by side between Jean Verveers and Conor Bergstrom. These two are going, so, wow! Verveers, there's a Ferrari next to you, buddy. And slap bang in the wall. Oh, having to restart that car. And that is bent. That is properly bent. Oh, man. He went for it. Definitely went for it, but not ideal. I mean, let's go to the helicam there and take a look. Closes up. Connor gets a terrible drive. Looks up on the outside. Getting the drive. Looks to go side by side. The two. Oh, no, man. Thud. Squaring it in between the barrier. Parking it right by the ambulance. At least he's getting checked out by the medics on the way through. Oh, man. And Verveers into the pits. Going to be repairing that car. That was a hard smack. And a sudden stop. Not the usual stops that we see where it takes some time. That was definitely not ideal circumstances. And the driver will be taking a bit of a deep breath on it. Side by side. Daniel De Villiers and Musa goes. Musa puts him on the outside. Getting a little bit argy-bargy there. But all okay. Both being a little bit rough with one another. And I will say, both quite enjoying the rough racing at this point. Because returning the favor, that what they call in the world of wrestling is going and issuing a receipt. That is what gets spoken about. You issue a receipt to your competitor. Just saying, hey, listen, you go and do something wrong, I'm going to give you a solid knock back. Simple one of that is take the fact of Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar, where Brock Lesnar got kneed in the head by Braun Strowman, and what happens when you go and knee a MMA fighter a little bit too hard? Well, he goes and gives you a good hits across the head, a good something, and tells you to calm down, which, in fairness, that is what a receipt is. Just an extra way of saying, calm down. Daniel De Villiers now on the chase to Mahiath Musa. Going the other way around. The Ferrari closing up onto the back of the BMW. Mahiath Musa doing everything he can to maintain 17 minutes to go. And our top 5 still needing to put. Jason Farmer in 11th position. Also still needing to get into the pits. So, not having an easy time there. Serodio, though, who was in 4th place, now spun out. Serodio has spun out and has lost that drive. What on earth happened to our number 6? So, let's jump on board with Serodio. Did he run out wide? Understeer on the gas. Oh, there's the grass. There's the turn. There's the knock. Through the gears. Oh, man. And has to turn it round rather quickly as he suddenly got Loureiro chasing him down from having a monumental gap on him. Now it's down to 5 seconds. So just that final corner being a absolute killer for the likes of Serodio and Mahiath Musa. Both taking a bit of a fall down there. Out in front though, hybrid racing. Bego Krobler and Daniel Rowe gonna start running line astern with one another. Checking out from the battle. Mac van der Merwe lying in 3rd place, catching up to the back of one of our LTR cars, our luxury time racing cars. And we'll be trying to get around. That might be Jason Farmer ahead of him. Yes, it is. It's Jason Farmer currently running 11th position. who is just now keeping an eye on his mirrors and saying, okay, when you get close, I'll let you by, but this time around, you're going to have to wait. So suddenly Gideon Reyna's only 3.8 seconds ahead of me, and I have an opportunity here. Serradio pulling into the pits, so he's going to be doing his final pit stop and maybe a bit of work on the car as well. As we see Sanjan Pillay into the pits. So he's getting his pit stop done and dusted. So our drivers now starting to consider those final pit stops. Bego Krobler hopping the curb, trying to get onto the back of Daniel Rowe. Couldn't get the drive just as yet. Really launch his way through. There is Werner Skuman. Where are you going, buddy? Because that was completely off track. Now he's going to try and scrub off all that dirt and muck on the tyre. What happened to him? Did he run out wide? Over the curb, over the dirt? That would have been okay. Just having understeer, one would think, oh my gosh, he missed the corner by light years. Werner Skuman getting overzealous. Unfortunately, that does bring him down a little bit closer. Conor Bergstrom, though. Oh, in the wall. Conor Bergstrom in the wall. Getting turned round. What happened to Conor Bergstrom? Panasti falling off one by one. And I think maybe just running to the fringes of the circuit. Oh, yeah, just a little touch of the grass. Turns him around. Puts the nose into the dirt, but now he is parked on the inside of 32. Get yourself turned around there is not an easy time, and we'll lose out a lot of time. So he pulls into the pits to get his car sorted out, getting a little bit of repair work. Serodio touching the dirt. He is now lost all drive to the likes of Daniel de Villiers. Serodio needs to try and play a little bit of catch up because his teammate is now ahead of him, Mahath Musa of the Project Vapors. Radio running out very wide once again. Still on the grass, hangs it all together. Deep breaths all around. Center one zen. And try and bring it back. Bego Kroblet looking on the inside of Daniel Rowe. Not having an easy time. Trying everything he can to just keep the momentum as it stands. Daniel Rowe stretching his legs. Hoping to get a little bit more of a charge. Not an easy time with his teammate constantly putting a bit of pressure on him, forcing him to get a little bit quicker. Last lap times though were about the same, 124, so they have slacked off a little bit. Not the usual 23s, but Bego Krobler is leaning on Daniel quite a bit to see if maybe he can score a couple of valuable points, maybe get into a bit of a race. Daniel Rowe going out wide. Bego Krobler just hooking on the brakes a little bit early just to give himself a bit of breathing room. So Conor Bergstrom back out on circuit after his pit stop, his unexpected pit stop, and now needing to keep going. So 12 minutes into the 12 minutes and 27 seconds after the race. Come on, English, please come back to me. Daniel Rowe out in first, Bego Krobler in second, Mac van der Merwe in third, Loureiro in fourth, along with Mahath Musa in 5th. 6th place is Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, Andre Serradio. Darren Miller in 8th. 9th is Werner Skuman, followed by Gideon Reyna in 10th position. Jason Farmer in 11th. 12th, Eric Kirstein. Alan Patterson in 13th. Conor Bergstrom down in 14th position. Sanjan Pillay in the pits. It looks like they've retired that car along with Fafirs, unfortunately taking on too much damage and calling it a night. Bego Kroblet now getting himself sorted. I know what Sanjan Pillay will be doing, and I know he does watch the broadcast as well. Whether he watches it now or whether he watches it in the future, different story. But what he would have done is climbed out of his car, gone to the team and said, look guys, unfortunately I think that's all she wrote for tonight's race. He would grab his camera and take some of the most spectacular shots there is. There is a few people in the world of sim racing right here in South Africa that do what is called simography, which is basically photography but for sim. And for anyone that has a photography brain that loves taking, photos of race cars, I implore you, I just say, do it. Go out, take some spectacular photos, because what you can do in the sim, changing ISOs, getting your camera settings dialed in, you can get that perfect camera angle shot. Go for it. Because that's one thing that has just been on the climb, and nothing makes a series look better than you see some of the talented drivers and also the talented photographers, videographers that you have out there. I mean, we've got a variety of people racing that have so many different talents that pull into resources, whether it's making fun videos or very informational videos, or going and just capturing what the race is all about, or even getting those stunning shots of the cars. I mean, that's where it comes in. And I will say, hands down, I know of two that have really, they take some awesome photos of sim, and that is like Sunjin Pillay and also Gabriel Melmed is the other chap that takes some amazing sim photos. Go look him up, go see what the photos they do, and if you think you can be on par with him, I dare you to go do it. It is wonderful. But four drivers still needing to pit. Jason Farmer still needing to get into the pits. He is going to be in a world of hurt when he gets into the pits. Daniel Rowe still needing to pit. Mac van der Merwe giving a chase now. This is going to be who's going to pit the latest. Is it going to be Daniel Rowe? Is it going to be Mac van der Merwe? Mac is currently 6.5 seconds behind Daniel Rowe and has an opportunity. Werner Skuman, though, into the wall. Does turn himself around. So he's spun out. There goes Kilian Rayner. So one position gone once again. Werner Skuman starting to trundle down the order. Eric Kirstein, though, also landing up into a bit of a problem as he's trying to get himself restarted and going. And it does look like he landed up with a bit of a world of hurt. Was this trying to let his teammate go? No, just missing out the corner there. Bego Krobler onto the back of him, gives him a light little flash. Touches the grass. Oh, man, that was all she did. Touch of the grass, turns around, Eric Kirstein into the dirt. He's able to get the car going once again, so hats off to him. But unfortunately, not ideal circumstances. Does move out the way. Allows, that looks to be, isn't Farmer. That would be the likes of Sean Loureiro that went by him. So Loureiro up in 4th position at the moment. Chasing down, will need to get into the pits and do his pit stop. So the two luxury time racing cars still needing to get their pit stops done and dusted right here at Brands Hatch for round 3 of the RaceFace GT3 Championship, sponsored by Ondorf Machinery Mart and SA Lube. And a big shout out to our sponsors being a part of it, and lots to come. I can tell you that there is a lot that's going to happen. Tomorrow, there is going to be a little bit of rumblings in the water within the administration of RaceFace.Pro. Just putting it out there, a bit of a sneaky little tell for anyone watching the broadcast live or watching it in the future. Keep an eye out. Today is the 16th of the 5th, 2024. Keep an eye out, because from tomorrow we're about to see a bit of a change, and who knows, some exciting times in the future. And as we heard from the likes of Paul Fenter a little bit later in the year, possibly we may have a little bit of a long race coming in. We do have our RaceFace.Pro endurance series that runs during the course of the year, which is always great. We also do have the likes of our GT3 Championship that's running, our SA Lube F4 that is coming to a close in 2 weeks' time. We do have our BMW, our Ondorf Machinery Mart, and SA Lube Z4 racing next week, Tuesday. So there's still lots of racing out here on RaceFace.Pro. So make sure you subscribe, go and hit that notification bell, and keep an eye on the social media, ladies and gentlemen. High and low, this is going to get properly exciting. I do also recommend going and taking a look at the social media of all the different racing teams that are currently out on circuit, and also the drivers that are currently out on circuit. because there is lots of interesting info, a lot of behind the scenes info that you pick up from the different teams, from the different drivers, through their social media, they do tell, and also their live streams as well, because quite a few of these drivers are live streaming on a variety of platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, the variety, and have a ton of fun in the process. So just a shout out to them as well. So go and take a look at it. It's worth doing it. For anyone that is currently watching for their live streams, it would be nice if you guys can send on what your live streams or social medias are to myself, so we'll be able to just pass it around, get some people supporting local, because local's lacquer, as you say. And I don't know who that John Deere person is, because as we see, Gideon Raider runs out wide, Werner Skuman around the outside, gets a pass done, was lining it up for a couple of corners. Gideon Raider still with a bit of damage on the car, doesn't quite have the same top end as the likes of Werner Skuman, who did get a bit of repair work on his car. Daniel Rowe into the pits. And let's see where Bego Krobler will be. It's a little bit far back. I think Bego Krobler may be a little bit too far back to make the dent of Daniel Rowe, whose wheels down and enrolling. Around the final corner. Nah, that's it. Daniel Rowe holds first place after the pit. The gamble worked out and comes ahead of his teammate Bego Krobler. Mac van der Merwe lying in third place, still giving chase, 3.1 seconds behind Bego Krobler, so slowly clawing into that gap. Last lap time though wasn't quite the quickest, 1:24.7 for him, while Bego Krobler was 1:24.1 on his way through. So a proper run there. But take a look, another little fight started to grow and brew. Daniel De Villiers, Andre Serradio, let's go in for the fight. Mahayath Musa is ahead of them, and now we'll be calling on the radio saying, Andre, let's go and put both Project Vapor cars together in 5th and 6th. But Daniel De Villiers will go down fighting at this point. He is not going to give up the fight. He is going to give it absolute horns. Connor Bergstrom with a drive-through penalty right at the last 3 minutes of the race. Gut punch of note, and that is just for taking the corners a little bit too much. Going and running wide, or just turning in a fraction too early here at Brands Hatch. Those track limits is just eating into it, and that is going to knock the confidence of the driver. And this is where, as a team captain, you come in, you just talk to them, as Connor serving that drive-through penalty. Will get it out of the way, just needs to finish. That's all he needs to do. I see Andre Serradio taking a lot of the track there, doing everything he can, really trying to put as much pressure as possible onto the back of the PWSR car. Sean Larera now into the pits, will be losing out a position to Mahayath Musa and possibly to Daniel De Villiers and Andre Serradio, as they are super close by. So there's Larera into the pits. Musa comes by. Where's De Villiers? Yes, De Villiers and Serradio getting past. So now it is a battle for 5th position that we see out on circuit. Serradio and Daniel De Villiers doing everything they can to claw it out in the final 2 minutes of this race. And our drivers needing to really sink it all in. It is going to be a battle right the way through. Our leaders, Bego Krobler and Daniel Rowe, also coming close to one another. I don't think we're going to see too much of a fight on their part. I think they're going to play the long game as a team, but we are seeing two rival teams of PWSR and Project Vapor go door to door with one another in the final push for the top running. Nico Killerman going and saying, go Project Vapor. So he is cheering on the likes of Project Vapor. The Jutec Racing man looking to keep going. These races in our F4s. Nico Killerman under the Jutec team. So going and being part of it and having a bit of fun. Going and supporting Project Vapor boys who are doing everything they can. Serradio constantly putting the pressure onto the back of De Villiers. Can he make it work though? De Villiers on a monumental defense will be sweating, will be going and saying, I need to find that little bit more pace. 50 seconds to go. Daniel Rowe making his way around. Bego Krubler in second place. Mac van der Merwe in third. Mahaith Musa in fourth. Daniel de Villiers hanging on to fifth place. Mahaith Musa in fourth. I do apologize. Daniel de Villiers in fifth. Andre Serradio in sixth place, doing everything he can as they're clawing, trying every step of the way to keep going. As we look to see as Daniel may be coming around to take the checkered with Bego Krubler on them. I think they're backing off. Mac van der Merwe is going to do everything he can to try and close it down. We're waiting for Jim to just give us the green on whether we're on our last lap or not. I do think so. As our leader confirmation on the final lap. Daniel Rowe has started his final lap. So it's all or nothing. One more lap to go. It is Andre Serradio, Daniel de Villiers. Who's going to be able to get it together? The hitman, or will it be Serradio, the cool and calm, trying to take the momentum from Tuesday? Looks at the inside, couldn't get it going, will back out, will get back into the toe, trying to pull himself along, closing it down as tight as he can, gritting his teeth, goes for podium hill. Can he get it sunk in? No, de Villiers goes and chops off the nose, ensuring they can keep ahead of the BMW. That does eat out the drive. Maybe turn 2 is going to be the option. Yeah, no, closes down under braking. Oh, this is going to be a close one between them as they fight their way around. We do see Daniel Rowe still making his way through. Will be trying to get a bit closer with Bego Krubler as they look to come across the line together. As we see these two battling out, but coming up to the line, Daniel Rowe, Bego Krubler, got to give them their due. Going to show off a little bit, taking a 1-2, maximizing the points. So Daniel Rowe taking first place, Bego Krubler taking second, but we go down to Daniel de Villiers and Andre Serradio, who are going to fight it out. Mac van der Merwe taking third place. Mahaith Musa will take fourth. Has de Villiers done enough to keep ahead of Serradio as they find any which way to go? Serradio has got one corner to make it work. Can he carry the drive? De Villiers hanging on by a thread. 0.8 of a second. He may have just done it. Serradio runs out wide, drops the wheel on the dirt. That is it. Daniel de Villiers comes across the line, taking 5th place. 6th going to Andre Serradio. Sean Loureiro finishing up in 7th position. Darren Miller in 8th, followed by Werner Skuman, Gideon Rayner, Alan Patterson, Jason Farmer, Eric Kirstein, Conor Bergstrom, and Sean Verveers will be rounding out as our drivers make their way around the circuit. There's a beautiful shot of all the cars lining up. Congratulations to all of our drivers. What a race! Fantastic racing, monumental run, and awesome stuff. Let's head back to the commentary box. Let's try and get our breath back. Jason Rourke-Sabadja going and tuning out of his live stream just to be here for the racing. Big thank you, Jason Jones, for that one. Go and take a look at Rourke-Sabadja going and sporting. Person that actually hasn't done some racing, but does show an interest in it. Once again, absolutely love it. Shout out to him out on Twitch. Oh boy. Well, that being said, let's see if we can have a chat to a couple of our drivers after a monumental fight like that. And take a look at some of the race highlights as Daniel Rowe takes the win for tonight's festivities. They're going to be happy. Louder line saying, well done, Andre. Well done, Daniel. Great battle out there. I firmly agree on that one. That's two drivers I'd love to have a chat to. Andre Serradio and Daniel de Villiers. So if they're out there watching, two drivers I'd love to have a chat to. Just get a bit of their feel of how the racing went. We do have Daniel de Villiers coming in to the interview. Daniel de Villiers coming in for a bit of a chat. How are you, buddy? Sweating after that one. I could be sure on it.
Yes, Stephen, hello. It's been a tough race, defending against Musa and Skuman, and yet the end against Serradio, so it's been a very tough one.
I mean, take us through that last couple of laps where you had Serradio hunting you down, looking dead for rights on every corner of the apex, and then to hear Jim in the comms say, all right, it's time, one more lap.
Well, Stephen, I was hoping it would have been a lap sooner, so just could it be quicker and get it over with and stuff. But yeah, no, it's been hectic. The tires fell off a bit on the second stint, and yeah, I had to nurse it all the way back.
Proper run there, but ultimately, awesome running. You finished up ahead. You got 5th place. Now with round 3 out of the way, looking towards round 4, what's the game plan?
Survive, and survive. That's
Fair
the
enough.
game plan.
Fair enough. Anything you want to say to our spectators on looking, seeing all the battles, and getting to see you as a PWSR driver going and representing quite well out there, showing what defense looks like? Anything you want to say to the spectators, to our sponsors, to everyone out there in the ether of RaceFace.Pro?
Yeah, Stephen, I just want to thank Alan first of all, and then everyone that's supporting us, or me, or RaceFace, or anyone on this grid. Yeah, thanks for the support. It means a lot to everyone that's racing, and to Hansi and Bertus Hugo as well, and everything. So yeah, just thank you for everyone, and thank you, Stephen.
Oh, absolutely tremendous stuff. Daniel, well done on the race, well done on the 5th, and well done for a great defense. Go and rewatch it. Promise you, you'll see how close you actually were to losing it.
Thank you, Stephen.
Also finding that Don soundboard. Don Bugger found the soundboard. All right, well, let's move on. Let's bring in 3rd place, Mac van der Merwe. Mac, welcome to the commentary box. Good to have you. Good to see the Porsche out there in one of the most unique liveries that has been going and turning heads. Some for the right reason, some for the wrong reason. 3rd place, though, after a bit of a start. How are you feeling after that?
Yo, Stephen, I think I said it last time as well. After Barcelona, I'm knackered. But this time it's even more. My arms are dead. Yeah, tried to push all the way through to keep up to Bago. At the start it was possible, but the second part of the first stint, yeah, that man just he pulled 2-3 tenths each lap. I just couldn't keep up.
Well,
So yeah, but I mean, I'm happy with 3rd place, behind Bago and behind Daniel. They were always quick, so yeah, I'm not too sad about 3rd. So I'll take it.
and I want to ask, how close were you to drive-throughs in terms of track warnings? Because it seemed like it was a monster around the circuit. A couple of drivers getting a drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, track limits coming into play.
No, so I kind of kept it clean somehow. Yeah, there was a few times I thought I'm going to get a warning, but then I didn't even get a what do you call it? A no warning cut or whatever. I only got my first warning, I think, in the last when 8 minutes left or something like that. So from my side, I was quite safe, but I did lose some tire pressure throughout both stints, of flattering the curbs and so on. Yeah, but in terms of track limits, not too bad. Yeah.
Well, scoring some valuable points, doing well out there. What's the game plan heading into the next round?
Yo, Stephen, next round, Nürburgring. To be honest with you, I don't know that track too well. After the 24 hours, I felt like, okay, now I kind of know where I'm going. But obviously, pace-wise, not going to be too great. So I'm going to have to put in some time. Yeah, so we'll see if I'll be able to get some time in during the week. But for the next race, honestly, probably just try survive. I think if you survive without putting it in the wall at Nerbs, you should be able to score some good points. So that would be the main goal. But after that, yeah, now I'm gonna have to put in some work to catch Daniel and Bago, and then if we get the likes of Barkhuizen back as well, then yeah, the fight will be on. So gonna have to put in some homework, get used to the Porsche a little bit more. It's only the second time I've ever used it in a season. The first time it was quite 2 years ago or something. So getting into the rhythm of that again. But yeah, I need to put in some work. So hopefully I can fight Bago and Daniel for the win next time.
Well, with that being said, anything you would like to say to all our viewers, to our sponsors, to everyone watching here out at the track at Brands Hatch for round 3 of the RaceFace.Pro GT3
Yeah, no.
Championship?
Thanks for everyone tuning in. Yeah, I think our goal for RaceFace is to get more people to join. So I mean, if you know anyone that's interested in racing or in Assetto Corsa, yeah, get them to join. There's plenty of space left in our grids. It would be fun to get 3-4 full grids of 30 to 40 people. Yeah, so spread the word, and thanks to our sponsors for always supporting us. We really appreciate you guys, and thanks to you for commentating, and for Hansi and Bertus always making sure all our servers are up and running and running the league quite professionally. So yeah, thanks for everyone involved, and let's make a collaborative effort to grow the community.
Onwards and upwards. Mac van der Merwe, congratulations and well done to
Thanks, Stephen.
your race.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. Let's bring in second place, Bago Krobler. Bago, welcome to the commentary box. Getting a little bit more familiar with it. This time coming across the line, second place behind Daniel Rowe. It looked like you were going out for first. Unfortunately, pit stop strategy didn't quite work in your favor. Daniel managed to leapfrog ahead, but still valuable points to the championship. How are you feeling with that result?
Yeah, not so much pit stop strategy, just more pit execution. I didn't had a terrible stop, my second stop, and didn't stop in my box. So I think it took them longer to push the car back than the stop itself actually was. That ended up costing me in the end. But yeah, it's not my favorite track, so P2, I'll take it.
Well, you were in a bit of a race at the front end of the field at the start of the race. How was it going and battling it out and just being stuck in a 3 to 4 car battle and having to watch your mirrors the whole time till eventually you managed to break the slipstream? Take us through that start.
Yeah, start was good. I think as soon as it went green, I saw that I got a decent run on Mac on the outside. And then it was just obviously trying to keep it clean with everybody around. And then Mac kept first, but unfortunately for him, he made a mistake running wide into the second last corner, on the entry of the second last corner, and it was on the grass. So I lost the lead there, and then from there I had to work really, really hard to start pulling away. But once I start pulling away, the gap sort of built slowly but steadily. So, but it's a intense track race starts this, because it's technical, it's tight, it's bumpy, and then you've also got 5 or 6 other guys that want the same piece of tarmac that you're on. So yeah, it's intense, but it was fun. So it was enjoyable.
Well, with round 3 out of the way, round 4 on the horizon, what's the game plan as you look forward to the likes of racing at the Nürburgring, at the Nürburgring 24 hour?
Yeah, so plan tonight was to take some points off of Daniel. So Daniel's actually in Joburg doing some VW commitments, but Andres from EG Evolved graciously set up a rig for him to race in tonight. So Daniel wasn't even racing in his own rig. So that just says a lot about him still being able to win the race like that. So for next week, I've got to learn the track. I guess I haven't done many laps there. So I think it's going to be a race of attrition, and it's more going to be a case of each driver having to race the track than it is really all of us racing each other.
It's only 172 corners to remember. I mean, that's not hard.
Hey, Stephen, I tell you, at my age, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but it's going to be a struggle, but we'll try.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Anything you would like to say to all our RaceFace fans out there, to our sponsors, SA Lube and Ardendorf, and also just to everyone wanting to jump in and be a part of the amazing action right here at RaceFace.Pro?
yeah, everybody wanting to jump in, go for it. There's, I mean, all the communities have different tiers that you can. I mean, if you're a beginner, there's other beginners racing as well, and you'll be grouped with those guys, and there'll always be good racing for you. So, if it's something you want to try, absolutely give it a go. The more the merrier. And yeah, to all the normal race face guys, thanks for racing and for tuning in and watching the streams as well. And to all the sponsors, thanks for being for enabling us to have these events.
I'm guessing the thank you to Andres, and at the same time a darn you, Andres, for allowing your teammate to get the best on you for around Brands Hatch.
Yeah, I feel like Andres could have changed. I don't know. He could have maybe changed the spring on the brake there or something to help a brother out, But it is what it is.
Loosen a bolt on the seat just so it's
exactly.
just so it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bego. It's always a joy to chat to you, and I look forward to chatting to you next week after round 4 as we head out to the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit.
Thanks. Just.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is the end of tonight's broadcast. I'd like to say a big shout out, a big thank you to Cameron Bastos, who joined us a little bit earlier and had to leave a little bit. Big shout out to him. Shout out to Bert Hugo, Huntsy Myberg, and all our drivers racing in Pro-Am, and Am divisions. Glad to have you guys here. You guys, the spectators, the drivers, the teams, the families, all being a part of it. All the petrol heads joining us for some phenomenal racing action right here at RaceFace.Pro, and we look forward to next week. Same time, we will be starting out at 8 o'clock, or 10 past 8, the broadcast will start, and we'll go racing around a circuit that is 172 corners. It is the longest circuit in the world actively used, and is the home of the ADAC 24-hour endurance race. One track that everyone has been asking for to come on to Assetto Corsa Competizione will be the home of our not even endurance race. It'll be an hour and 30 minutes of racing, which would be roughly a good couple of laps, because we're going to see cars doing roughly about 8 minutes, 9 minutes around that circuit per lap. And it's going to be who's going to be alive come the end of the race, who's going to remember, who's going to be able to focus for the longest time. But that being said, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, leave a like, and let us know what your favorite part of the race was. Who's the team that you're keeping an eye out for right here at RaceFace.Pro? And like always, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody, from right here at the THT Productions booth.